So this is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
See, I'm here and I'm ready today. All right. What's up? This is your boy Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. Look, let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. Man, we're going to have a great show today. Gonna be a good one. Be a good
I see you're not sleeping. You're not sleeping.
The alarm went off, and I'm good.
Wait, why are you saying the alarm went off when it went on?
What's happening, family? Everything's good.
Hey, Mo.
Real quick before we get to our guest, man, I was talking to Simeon Henderson earlier today. Okay, the actor. And the other things that he is. Okay, he does a lot of stuff for humanitarian, I'll call him. I was talking to him earlier today. He has this golf outing that he's going to be taking care of. Okay, it's a scholarship golf outing. It's the 4th annual. Best Symbolic. I think that's what he called it, right? It's August 13th, and the tee time is at 10 o'clock. It's a scholarship. Now, we'll be talking about this another time, but there's his mission is on here. How you can register and be a sponsor as well. Okay, so Simeon, good work, man. We appreciate you doing that. And hopefully it comes out real well. Tree says, "What's up?"
Tree.
What's going on, Tree? How we been doing? We're going to answer that on the air too, right? All right, we're good, Tree. Look, I was out. It was a celebratory weekend in GI. And my son took me. I just spent the day with him. He took me around. We went to the flea market in Gary, right?
On Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we were walking around, and I didn't want to go at first anyway. But then we went around this corner, okay, and something caught my eye, and everybody was around it. All the guys were around it, and I'm like, okay, what's up? Because I was standing way back. And I saw this guy, his name is Damien Gore, or is it Gore? I got to ask him. I think it's Gore. And he had this memorabilia shop, well, 2 of them actually, side by side. And the guys were just so amazed at it, all right? He had comic books. He had
Michael Jackson memorabilia.
Look, dude, you said Michael Jackson memorabilia. Nah, man, he ain't got no gloves in the giant.
He got a glove. Everybody got a glove.
A little hair pomade. He ain't got none of that up in there, dog.
Meal gloves.
If you can remember, look, everybody has had a hobby before. We've all had hobbies. This man has taken his hobby and turned it into a profitable business. If you all see this business, I'm telling you, it is full of everything. And I've seen a lot of them. I've gone to Chicago because my son is an avid comic book guy. But he gets them and he lays them down after he reads them, lays them down and he doesn't preserve them, okay? Not knowing that you could get some money off of this stuff, man. Okay, look, man, this guy he's an IT professional, but he's made a hobby. He's made his hobby his profession, and he got his son involved in it too. Everybody, y'all, let's say what's hey.
Nice.
Read.
What's up? I like that generational way of doing.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Damien from RetroTrading Cards and Collectibles. I'm an entrepreneur. Just started my own business about 1.5 years ago. And we have a location at 4121 Cleveland Street in the Market City Flea Market. Big up to everybody down there in Market City.
Yes, sir.
And so what we have is kind of like a hybrid store, right? Most comic shops now are hybrid. Action figures is a big market. Toys is a big collectible market. It's gotten even more profitable with the grading system. I mean, you could get everything graded and preserved and slabbed, from toys to trading cards to CGC comics. So we sell a little bit of everything. And a lot of people like to congratulate me and talk about how, I have things laid out in the shop. Maybe I appreciate it. Maybe it's my military background. And once upon a time, I did also work in retail. So I try to make things as eye-catching as possible. And we sell a variety of things. I think thinking of all the characters in the comic books we sell, even before the movie, Miles Morales Spider-Man has been our #1 seller. And that is the young teenage African-American and Puerto Rican and Black Spider-Man. And he appears in the new movie Across the Spider-Verse and also Enter the Spider-Verse as well. And he's one of our top-selling titles and one of our top-selling characters, Spider-Man period right now. But we were talking about other characters. Blade has returned. Blade has come back in a new series. Those are the fans of Blade, and his daughter has a series out, a miniseries. Her name is Bloodline. She's come out with a miniseries, a 5-issue book, and I think it's pretty good.
Now let's talk about that though. We talked about that before the show started. Well, let's go back. Sure. Let's go back.
Okay.
How did you get started doing this?
I'm sorry?
How did you get started doing collectibles? I mean, when we're young, man, we get these things and then we
tear them up.
Tear them up. You know what I'm saying? We didn't tell you what's up.
Not me. I had an uncle, matter of fact, he was in the radio. He was more on the sales side. But all the toys, some of the toys that I was into, like back in the day, I was into Ninja Turtles, and we collected those. Thundercats, all of those things were expensive. They still are. Hey, they still are rare and expensive nowadays, even though there's some retro versions released. But my mom and my stepdad couldn't always afford to buy those things, as well as Air Jordans. People collect Air Jordan shoes. We were talking about the shoes, me and Greg earlier. And so my uncle was the one that kind of introduces like birthdays and special occasions. He would take us to back then when they had Toys R Us. Y'all know Toys R Us was extremely high back in them days. And they'd come back with Macy's, and it ain't changed that much different. They just said Macy's. But so he took us and he introduced us to, these toys. We would see him on TV. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, what you want for your birthday?" He had all we knew is that he had the green car with the man with the helmet on it. So he'd break that out, and he'd be like, "Yeah, pick out a couple of them. Pick out what you want, And he'd be like, "Y'all take care of these, y'all make sure y'all taking care of these. I'm paying all this money for this stuff." So it's kind of how it started. And then comic books. I've been collecting comic books off and on since 1986. I think comics were 50 to 75 cents when I started.
Oh wow!
Walgreens was my first taste of comics. Walgreens. They used to have a spinner rack. I have one in my shop for nostalgia's sake. They had the old school spinner rack where you would load the comic books on them and spin it around and look at the issues. And I went into Walgreens. And when I went in there, I think one of the first ones I bought was Iron Man. And this was way before like the movie and Avengers and all that. Yeah. And I picked up that first issue and I bought it and I read it and I was hooked since. I said, and I said, when the next one come out? When the next one? So then it ended up being over time, Walgreens stopped selling comics. So I kind of was like, man, where am I going to get these? Not knowing that they actually had shops. At that time, I was just thinking, I used to go get them at Walgreens. So I'm like, well, where am I going to find these? So I ended up finding, I think I came across a local shop. And I started getting back into it, collecting. And then as a teenager, like I was saying, me and a group of my friends used to literally we used to literally save our car fare and allowance money to the end of the month. And we would just go buy as many books as we can in the local comic shop.
That's a lot. That's but you saved them though. That's the amazing part. you saved it. Did you know that the value would be something huge when you were doing it then?
I knew about the value and the condition because going to that shop, I was exposed to other collectors. And like I said, the owner was the one that talked to us a lot about what was what, and that introduced us to the hobby. You know, we was just some kids coming in there hoping to get some books and getting as many as we can. And he introduced us to how to keep them, preserve them, bag them, board them, how to get, buy the comic boxes and stuff. Back then, there was no grading system. They didn't have the slabbing, the CGC slabbing. What I mean by CGC slabbing is they now have a universal grading system. All right. CGC is the top company in grading comic books. Okay. So this is a 9.8 out of 10. And by the way, this is Death of Doctor Strange, Blade. This is a crossover with Doctor Strange and Blade.
Wow.
And this is actually the first one. This came out about a year ago. And this was actually one of the first books that one of the new titles that I was able to feature in my shop.
So do you read them?
I do. There's so many now, I don't have the time. But occasionally I read like the ones that I read the description when I place the order, and the ones that are really intriguing to me, I'll try to get time to read. Like Transformers just had one called the Shattered Glass. Originally, a couple years ago, they came out with the Shattered Glass series. It became so popular, they created action figures after the series. So the theme of the Transformers Shattered Glass 2 just came out. It's a sequel to the original series. Shattered Glass 2 the theme is the Autobots are bad and the Decepticons are good. It's a flip side. The Autobots actually rule Cybertron and they are the enemy, and the Decepticons are good. So Optimus Prime is actually evil.
Optimus Prime was, wow. That's something.
Yeah. Yep, it's dope. And if you know anything about Transformers, Ultra Magnus, which is the second in charge under Optimus Prime, in the original series, I don't want to ruin it too much, but I put this out there to get a few interested in that title because it's an awesome series. So Ultra Magnus, if you remember the theme of the original Decepticons, they had Megatron was the leader of the Decepticons, right? And then they had Starscream, who was second in charge. They would always clash because Starscream felt like he should be the leader. Right. And he felt like he was better than Megatron. He could lead better than Megatron. So they would always clash, right? Well, similar to the flip side of things in the Shattered Glass, what they did to Ultra Magnus, who's second in charge of the Autobots and Primus, they did the same thing. It was the same concept, except it was the Autobots were bad. So Ultra Magnus wanted to rule the Autobots, and he went against Optimus Prime and fought Prime and actually beat him.
He's knowledgeable about this. And I was telling him also, man, we've had guests on here that, their resume looks great, but their knowledge of the product is not that good.
Oh, he know what he's talking about.
For me, it takes a lot of research because I'm always constantly outside of like my regular profession. I'm always researching, researching, getting knowledge about the characters, trying to figure out what's hot, what's rare, trying to figure out how I could get a deal on what's rare to bring in my shop. And a lot of customers, I have to give them credit. They've been outstanding. The community support and response in the area was unbelievable. I mean, I had a gentleman walk into my shop this weekend. All right. Now he heard word got around about me. We found RetroTrading Cards and Collectibles on Google. We're listed on Google. He called me, said, man, I got some cards you need to look at. I'm trying to sell these cards. He said, one of them is a Charles Barkley. So I said, well, what condition are you in? He said, I'm gonna just have to bring them in to you and let you see. These are really special. Oh yeah, I like that. Awesome. But to be honest with you, the best way to keep those cards is in penny sleeves and top loaders, not in the albums anymore. Because as you turn through the albums, you're putting wear and tear on the cards, right? You're bending them. You don't realize it. So the best way to preserve those is penny sleeves and top loaders. But we could talk a little bit about that later.
My sons.
Them yours, them porn stars cards. You got
man, I got worth some money too. The magazines are they'll be worth some money. Just like I showed you this CGC comic.
The first Hawk reissues.
Hey, everything has the possibility of getting graded to increase the value, including magazines. They grade magazines as well. So I've seen a couple Megan Thee Stallions out there on eBay, man, that's going for like $200 or whatnot. Like the swimsuit edition, they ain't playing with that one because, you know, for us, that's a rarity. For to be on the cover like that, that's quite an accomplishment. So I seen one that was slabbed, I think it was a 9.6. I was looking about getting, like, damn, I love Megan. I think I'm going to get that. But yeah, you know.
I just saw it's got a whole page of Scottie Pippins here, from rookie all the way through. Yeah.
That was my favorite. That used to be my favorite player. Still kind of is. Scotty, though, to speak on that, I was kind of disappointed on how he tried to bash Michael Jordan. I think that has a lot to do.
I think he took some shine off himself. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some animosity with him and Michael's son dating Larsa Pippen. I'm sure that's where some of that is coming from. I don't thoroughly believe he means a lot of what he's saying. I think he's just putting it out of there out of just frustration and anger at this point. But back to what I was saying about the community response. I had a gentleman come in, you know, and I typically like to buy things that my customers like, you know, right, from you know, general public, other people come and bring me things. So he come in and say, you got to see this card. I got to sign baseball. I'm not really into baseball. Basketball is more my sport. But, you know, again, I buy what my customers like, what I know that's going to sell. Right. So he comes in there, and I'm a fan of autos. What I mean by autos is like autographs. I have a huge autograph collection. I've met some celebrities in my lifetime. I've had went to some signings and things. That's what we do, collectors, right? So anyway, he came in, and he had brought this card, right? And this card right here is a rare Charles Barkley signed by Panini. And he had it encapsulated just like this in Magnet. He said, man, I want to do some work for somebody, I guess a relative or something. He say, man, you know, the guy that had the money to pay me, he told me to take anything out of his collection that I want. And I took this. He said, I figured it was Charles Barkley. I don't know much about it. You know, I know you know about this. This is your thing. I just want to support your business. He said, I want to make a couple money to, you know, make some money, do some things. So he has some personal things he's trying to do. He said, man, I said, well, how much you think this is worth? You know, he said, man, make me an offer. I said, I can give you a fair price. Of course, I need to make a profit. Wow. So we ended up making a deal, and I acquired this card from him, man. And it was unbelievable. Like, I'm going to get this graded. This hasn't been officially graded. It's slabbed in a magnetic holder, which you can buy these to preserve special cards. But this card is extremely rare. And it's what's called a refractor, how it glows in the background. Anything usually in the collector's world that glows in the background is a refractor, some kind of comic book cover or card, usually increases in value, usually. And so when I went online to appraise this, man, this is actually so rare. I don't know if you can see it, but right here, it says, see that it says 1 of 25. That's how rare this is. That 1/25 means that there was only 25
made. Yep.
And this is the first one out of that one. Somebody else out there has number 2, 3, 4, all the way to 25. Somebody else has 25 out of 25, but this is number 1. How lucky is that?
Damn.
Ooh-wee.
So when I say God is good, he is very good. And a lot of my customers have been very loyal to me and what I do. And just talking to him, he was like, man, I hear you. He said, I know you know a lot about this. He said, man, let's make a deal. We ended up cutting a really good deal, and I was able to acquire this for my collection. Now, mind you, I also have an Allen Iverson signed card, and I also have a Magic Johnson. And this will go right alongside those in my collection.
So let me ask you this. So you got one, that's 1 of 25.
Yep.
In the entire world.
That's rare.
That's
very rare.
That's worth some money, ain't it?
It is. I can actually to actually give you a ballpark figure. I've seen this card on eBay going between $900 to $1,200.
And you want to sell?
And that's not even graded. That's in this condition. If I were to send this off and get the autograph graded, because they can grade the autograph, they do what's called a dual grade.
What does graded mean? What does graded mean?
Graded means it gets encapsulated in slab, and it's given a number.
Okay.
Almost like a diamond.
Yeah, from a rating from 1 to 10. It's a rating scale. PSA, Professional Sports Authenticator, is the top grading company in trading cards. They're like the Michael Jordan of grading, okay? The second best is Beckett. PSA and Beckett are the top 2 companies. There's other lesser companies out there, but keep in mind, when you get your stuff graded by those lesser companies, if it's not a well-known company, that's going to affect the value, because a serious collector is going to say, yeah, it's graded. I can take the serial number and go to their website, but you know what? That grading company I've never heard of it. You know, which means they're graded. What PSA calls a 10 would be a 10 because they have a rigorous grading scale compared to other companies. So if another company might say it's a 10, and then you send it off to get it graded by PSA to double check, and PSA would say, no, that's not a 10, that's an 8.
That's a whole new lane, Gina Mo. That's a whole new lane of entrepreneurship right there. We're talking Damien Gore, man. He is a entrepreneur. He's has collectibles. All right, not just comic books, y'all. He got cards. He got some other things too. But he has a Charles Barkley professional card that has
auto.
Maurice. What a bubble gum that came with that.
Ralph Sims.
Nice. That's who?
Ralph Sims.
Oh yeah, that's worth him is worth some money. I can tell you that. I came across some cards I was looking through. I had acquired, and it had I think it was a Ralph Sampson, and I'm trying to think of the other player. It had like a Willis Reed in there too.
Oh
yeah, damn.
So okay, now as Mo was holding that up, okay, now it looks like it's in good condition, but in the form that it's in right now, it's not going to be worth much, right?
No, probably
no. Raw cards, unless they're extremely rare, and again, it depends on the condition. They're not worth a whole lot. In order to increase the value, depending on the card, you would get it graded, and it's going to cost you a little bit of money. Usually, typically, PSA, if you've seen the singular card, it's going to be $28 on up to get it graded. Beckett, a little bit more, like around 40. And if you want the dual grading, what I mean by dual grading, so what they do is if I ever send this Charles Barkley in, right, because they'll authenticate it. So what they'll do is they'll send it. You can send it in. They'll authenticate the signature and say, yes, this is authentic. This is Charles Barkley's signature. It'll have at the top. It'll say it's authenticated, which means they verify that this is Charles's signature. Okay.
Wow.
And then, but the problem with that is when you sit, some people just like to buy autographed cards. They don't care about the condition. You know, as long as it's in decent shape, looks like it's decent shape. But a serious collector is going to look at that and say, all right, if you go to sell it and cash in, he's going to say, okay, it's Charles' signature, but I don't know what condition the card is in. Right. So he's going to want to talk you down on the value. You see what I'm saying? Because typically, anybody knows anything about sports cards, professional autographs start off at $150 on up as far as negotiations and pricing. So a serious collector is going to try to beat you down on the price because he's going to say, well, I don't know what condition the card in. We can't eyeball this. You know what I mean? It's not graded by a company. It's just authenticated. So what I like to do is something like this. This is a Hall of Famer. I know this has got the probability of being a huge profit margin for me. I'm going to get it dual graded. I'm going to send it off to Beckett and get it dual graded, and it's going to cost me at least $100 to get this dual graded. So what they'll do is they'll not only authenticate the signature, it'll have 2 grades at the top. It'll say, if the signatures are 10, it'll say a 10, and then it'll say a 9.5. So that means the card, the condition of the card is a 9.5. The autograph is a perfect 10, which means when Charles signed this, he didn't slip his hand, nothing like this. It was a perfect signing. Keep in mind that nowadays there's so much money in this because these card companies like Panini, Topps, they have autograph signings with these celebrities. They pay them because this is promotion for their business, right? They pay them. And this is why packs cost more nowadays, you know, compared to us. You know, we could buy, back in the day, we could buy a pack of baseball cards for a little nothing, $1.50. Them days is
and the bubble gum.
Yeah. Now don't have the gum. Now you may get 4 basketball cards from Panini and it's going to cost you about $8 or $9. The reason why is because there's a probability you might get an autographed card in there like this.
Wow.
Well, you know, Damien, I have seen cards that sell up in the thousands.
Yes.
I really would, you know, why are they so high?
They're extremely rare. And those are the cards you're going to see. It's very rare. You're going to see, sometimes people post those on eBay, but to be honest with you, eBay is not the market, true market for those type of cards. You will go to somewhere like Heritage Auctions. For Heritage Auctions, in order for them to auction off your memorabilia, it has to be at least appraised to be worth $5,000. That's big money. So, you know, if it's not anything that's $5,000 or more, they're not going to mess with you. I've sent some stuff to them that I thought was high value, and they'll appraise it for free. You can actually send a picture or email, whatever. They have an office in Chicago, in downtown Chicago. They actually have an office. They're worldwide. They have offices worldwide. They tied into serious collectors who got money. You know, somebody like who's a collector that's a millionaire, Drake, just recently bought Tupac's ring. Drake has been known to be a collector. I saw him do a break, what I call a break. Those of us that collectors, let me break down the terminology. A break is when you buy a legacy pack of cards that's been sealed or unopened, and you break it open to pull out the most valuable Hall of Famers, okay? Drake spent a couple thousand on a 1984 box of cards. I think it was Fleer. And then he broke them live on like YouTube or somewhere. He did it like a casted it, and he pulled out 3 or 4 rare Michael Jordan rookies that were worth over $1 million.
But he bought that $300,000 ring for $1 million.
Yes.
You know,
that's
at
great. You got that money.
$300,000. I really thought the ring was worth more than that when I looked at it.
Yep, it's one of a kind. You got to think about Tupac himself.
It was specially made.
And then he wore it to the MTV Awards. You know, now the part I was disappointed is that I like Drake. Drake is a hell of a musician. He's extremely talented. And then I like Tupac, but their styles is completely different. So what I was disappointed was to see when Drake had a picture where he was wearing that ring. That's the part I didn't agree with. If I got that ring, I wouldn't dare put that on my finger. That's just me.
Don't denigrate the legacy.
Yeah, and it's like that's what made it put a strange twist on it, because I was like, in my heart, I was like, no, Drake don't really.
Yeah,
need this.
I would have found a nice case.
They different caliber. Drake didn't really deserve to wear that ring like that. That kind of bothered me, because I'm a Tupac fan, I'm a Drake fan, and I was like, you know, Tupac was Thug Life, you know, Tupac was on different level than Drake.
With that
Drake didn't deserve to wear that, man.
With that sale, the ring could really increase in value if he, you know, put it in a place where.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he got a safe. I'm sure he got it locked up somewhere, you know, along with his other $1 million jewelry. I don't, you know, none of us know what Drake's lifestyle really is like. But I'm gonna say this: I think the value is going to increase for 2 things. For one, it came from Tupac. It was custom made from Tupac. You know, he wore it at one point in time to the NBT Award. But the second part is that now Drake is advertising it.
Yeah.
You know, and Drake right now is one of those artists like Jay-Z. He's prolific in his music. He's larger than life. So that's the reason why if that goes up for auction again, it's going to go for any more, because it passed from Tupac to Drake's hands to whoever else that got the money to buy that.
Yeah.
That million that Drake spent for it.
It might be worth $1 billion.
Exactly.
Now, do you do more than trading cards, Damien?
We do comic books. We do action figures. I was just showing him an example. My Hero Academia. One of the legendary comic book artists, Todd McFarlane, does this series of My Hero Academia. This is an anime, what they call manga, Japanese art, Japanese characters, Japanese. This is big. This is classic. They had cartoons and comics. One Piece is also another heavy following. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles haven't gone anywhere. We sell the classic Ninja Turtles. Now, y'all remember these right here? Y'all remember this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who didn't get one of
My
these?
son had every one of them. Pokemon, Ninja Turtles.
I got the upstairs right now in the box, just like that.
Yeah. Wow. So these are the classic Ninja Turtles by Playmates. They still produce these.
That's in a package. You still got that in a package.
Well, I mean, that's how you're gonna get the most value. A lot of people.
That kid didn't even play with that toy.
This is a retro version. They reproduce these. These are still valuable. So what they do is every year they only come out with so many. So you might see these on sale in Walmart. If you do, you better pick it up.
Wow. I see them in Walmart, though. I do see them time and time.
Walmart, a lot of collectors know Walmart does sell things, and I ain't trying to advertise for Walmart. Walmart does sell things in low value, but that's also the reason why when you go there, the shelves are empty in their toy section, because they sell collectibles below value. A lot of collectors don't look there first if they can.
Wow.
But this is where I come in. When Walmart sell out and don't get it, and you be going there and checking every day, every month, and they don't get it, I get it. But you go.
You got a few Barbies then, huh?
You go pay for it.
That new old stock.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mom.
That new old stock, right?
I have it in stock. So they came out with a rare collector's edition of Ninja Turtles that goes for a little bit more. So now they got them wearing superhero costumes.
Wow, look at that, man.
Oh, wow.
So the classic Turtles wearing superhero costumes. This is the new Donatello. He got different weapons. He got a little buddy with him, a little insect creature buddy with him or whatever. So,
he got a little drone with him.
Yeah, got a little buddy. Then he got the new Bebop.
Look at this. Robin.
Right,
so These are a special limited edition collector series that was released by the company Playmates. Those are the serious collectors and Ninja Turtles. We're going to look for stuff like this because we know this money.
Now,
Oh, okay.
Damien, I see a lot of times it says limited edition. Does that mean it really is limited edition, or are they just trying to sell a toy?
I think for me, it means they only produce so many. If you look around and see how difficult it is to find some of these, then you'll get an idea of, what's true and what's not.
What about the original Marvel? Like this is original Marvel Venom card.
Yep. That looks like it's a refractor. It's shiny in the background, and you can almost see translucent. I can tell you right now, that's probably worth some good money because of Venom. Anything Venom is rare and goes up in value. Venom is that popular.
But again, it's unwrapped, and this is my point.
That's the first time I took the daggone card out since it's been here.
But you still got it in that, as he said earlier, in the album. All right. Does that decrease the value of it?
Over time, if you turn that pages so many times, it does put wear and tear on the card, and it can decrease the value. I've had people bring me albums, and I advise them, if you want to take good care of your cards, buy the penny sleeves and top loaders, okay? The penny sleeves is a thin coating layer. Let me see. Hey, can you grab me one of those with the top loaders in the room? One of those cards that we got that's in the penny sleeve and top loader. My son's gonna grab one for me. So the penny sleeve is a thin layer of plastic. You can typically buy those from BCW. BCW is a collector's site, right? And that's where I get a lot of my stuff. I have an account with them for my shop. They are the ones that create the bags and boards for the comic books. They're the ones that create the storage boxes for the comic books. They create storage boxes for the cards. They create the hard shell, what's called the top loaders. You slide the card in there. The best way to keep those in good condition is not the album. You put them in a penny sleeve first and the top loader, and then you put them away in the cardboard, the long cardboard boxes. So this is a top loader. I got
quite a few. Okay.
So it's hard. It's not easy to bend. And this is what they would come in from BCW. You can buy them in 100. Will probably cost you somewhere around $14 for 100. The penny sleeves are the thin sleeve. There's a thin sleeve that you put in before this. And you cover the card with it. One thing you have to realize, serious collectors, it's like anything else. It's kind of like a science to it, right? When you want to get the most value for your card, I don't know if anybody saw when Drake pulled that card and did that pull. Did he touch it with his hands? No, he didn't. He wore gloves. Because your fingers secrete oils. And you might not see it and realize it, but it might stain the card, right? So when you go send that card off to get graded to the grading company, that's gonna bring the value down. You're gonna say, but this looked like it was a perfect 10. I swear there was nothing wrong with it. And they're gonna they put the notes, the grading notes. They put notes on why the card is got that grade, right? It's gonna say card was stained, look like oil. You'll be like, but I ain't spilled nothing. Yeah, but your hands was touching that. You sweating that day. Or little Johnny, y'all do showing off your card to little Johnny now, and you ain't have it in the penny sleeve, and you let little Johnny hold, and he had some on his hands, and you ain't realize.
Chicken juice.
That's crazy. Hey man,
you didn't see it until because when they send this stuff in. Let me tell you what happens when they grade these books. When you send them off, especially comic books, when you send off to CGC, it's about 4 guys in a room that do this all day. Long. I'm sure they got 100,000 comic books come in, right? So they do this. The comic book come in, they look at it and say, oh, they pass it around and say, what you think this is, man? He say, to me, this look like a 9, right? Look at it for a while. They put in they got a digital scanner where they can see all the creases. I'm talking about everything. I've seen the notes on these. One of mine I had bought from somebody. I thought it was in good shape. It came back. They told me it had fingerprints in it. They graded. I thought it was at least a 9. It came back a 6. They put in the notes, had somebody's thumbprint. I'm like, what? I didn't touch that, but I had bought it. It came from another shop. So whoever had it had read it so much that the thumbprint was embedded in the cover.
Wow.
And the ink from touching it. These are things you run into when you have older books.
But you know what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now, there's ways you can pay. CGC, actually, you can pay a little bit extra. Not only do they grade, they can restore a book for you.
I was going to ask that.
They can restore the pages, they can restore the coloring, but I'm going to tell you this. When you alter a book, it might look nice and almost new, but that affects the value. It's not original.
That's the same as a car. That's the same as a car.
And when they grade it, they also put that in notes. They have to. It's been restored. So when the collector see that, he gonna say, "Oh yeah, this nigga." He gonna see that restored. He gonna say, "Oh no, I'm not gonna give you. That's my. You paid to have somebody alter this." See, you know, if it's a super rare book and you plan on keeping it, that's fine. But if you're looking to flip it and resell it, you're not gonna mess with the restoring. For one, it's gonna cost you some money, and you're not gonna see that back an increase in the value for doing that, more than likely. But then sometimes it's in the eye of the collector. A lot of this collector's market stuff, we could talk about looking up price guides and all that all day long. Let me tell you something. I had a rare book that was graded. It was a hologram covered Spider-Man. Graded, the book was literally only worth $11 in the price guide, right? And it cost about $35 to get it graded. It came back almost a 10. It was a 9.8. I flipped that book for $100. You know why? When the collector saw that, he saw the cover on it. Again, anything that's holographic, refractor is eye-catching. So he saw the value in that book, and not only that, he wanted it for his collection. And he looked up, when you get this book, there's a serial number to authenticate it, right? Not only does they have that on their website, they tell you how rare the book is, how many are in population that are graded at this number, 9.8, right? There may only been 50 of these. So the probability, unless he finds one in that same condition and send it off, and he's taking a chance because he may think it's a 9.8, but you don't really know what it is, so they get it and they tell you what it is. So the probability of him finding another book was rare graded. So he bought it for $100 because he was like, look, I looked it up, there's only 50 of them, it's rare, I want it.
Oof, $11 turns into $100, man. Jenny, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because I had some collectible coins, some silver coins, and my OCD kicks in. They were old, they were dirty. I went and got some Tarnex and I cleaned the heck out of them. They were shining, they were pretty. Okay. I took them to a coin dealer and he snapped off on me. And he was like, "You don't clean them. That is where the value is." I never knew that. So anybody that's looking for that have coins, don't clean them, because they want them just in the shape that you have them. And I ended up getting less for the coins because I had cleaned them.
Wow.
Yeah, coins is not really my forte. I know a gentleman that lives in the area over here in Indiana, JJ Coins, who has a shop that specializes in coins and stamps. He also collects toys and other stuff like I do, but he's more of an authority on that. He's been doing coins for a long, long time and stamps. That's a specialized hobby. I've not been able to get into the coins. It didn't capture, to me, it's boring. It didn't capture my interest. It wasn't fun to me. You know, if I collect coins, I want to collect them in my bank account. You know,
which is what you're doing.
Stamps too.
Which is what you're doing with flipping these, man. Look, $11, $100, that's good for me all day long, bro. That's good for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a blessing. Let me tell you, to give you an example, I had somebody in Market City, a person, another vendor. I bought some toys from her. She wasn't sure about the value, whatever. I bought a couple toys from her. They were Star Wars. We cut a sweet deal. And they were Ahsoka, which is the character that Rosario Dawson plays. That's what she's known to play. She's now part of the Star Wars universe. She plays Ahsoka. She's like an alien Jedi, female Jedi, or whatever. And they had the first version of that action figure. The Star Wars Black series are like the 6-inch ones, the big ones, not the small ones we grew up with. They got a new series that's big. And so there were two of them. One of them had a slightly damaged box. They were both still packaged. One of them was in good shape. So I bought those two for little or nothing, posted them on eBay. I got a little bit over $100 for both.
That's how you do it, man. Hey, we got a guy
just doing research, and a lot of the ways you can determine the value of toys. You can look them up online, but here's the key thing: you scan them, you reference them from a couple sites. So every toy, if you keep, this is the advantage of keeping it new in the package. Everything has a barcode, right? Walmart has set barcodes. This is universal, right? Because this is how they track sales. So you go to the Walmart app, you can scan the barcode. You go to Amazon, you can scan the barcode, and you get a roundabout price of what they're worth and what they're going for. Everything has a range. This could be going from $11 all the way to $35 or more. I've seen action figures go for, me and my lady, I just bought from a guy, some anime statues. for a good deal. And one of the Funko Pops that was in that set with the statues was a discontinued Call of Duty one. We scanned it, and it's going for like $90 on Amazon.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Man, we in the wrong business, y'all. Okay. We got a guy named Zing Zen. He's been on our show before, and he does anime. I forgot what it's called. I guess it's anime, and he draws them himself. All right, but he has a set of comic books. Number one, he said he would love to get his books in your shop.
Man, we could cut a deal. Get my information, man. RetroTrading Cards and Collectibles. I'm on Google. If you go to my website, we're on Google. The website will be RetroTradingCardsCollectibles.com. If you go to my site, my contact info is on there. My number's on there, as well as my email address. Shoot me an email, man. Let me see what you're working with. Let's cut a deal. I had another lady that came, and she was doing some kind of children's book. And we talked about it, and it looked really nice. She brought a couple copies, but she never came back. I was really excited to try to get her in the shop. I thought that'd be really good because she was local, and she was she got with a publisher to get a book published, but she was really trying to promote and get it out there. And man, I was willing to really cut a sweet deal with her just to get her stuff in the shop because I knew it was beneficial to the community.
Alpha's Adventure.
So yeah, hit me up, man, and let's see if we can get some business going. So thinking about it.
He will. He's I forgot where he's at, but he's not local, but he's kind of huge too. He also says SW Black Series is awesome.
The Star Wars Black Series is awesome. The 6-inch characters, I mean, a lot of the action figures are available in multiple sizes compared to when we were younger. When we were younger, a lot of action figures like G.I. Joe and stuff, the original ones were like only 3.5 inches, right? That's literally 4 inches. That's small, right? Yeah. Now they got G.I. Joes in 6-inch, 7-inch, and it determines the cost sometimes too. You know, a lot of the characters and action figures are available in different sizes. Transformers has different classes. When we were younger, there was only certain ones that were big, like Unicron, the planet that transformed. Metroplex was the Autobot city, which they ain't featured in the movie yet. I'd like to see that. Metroplex was the whole city. This robot was like a whole city he could transform to, and the Autobots could actually live inside him. He was that big, just like Unicron was a planet, right? Now they have what's called the leader class Transformers. If you see the boxes and you look at the different editions of Transformers, if you ever see some that say leader class, that means that is one of the biggest versions of that character that they come in. And the leader class will be Optimus Prime. Bumblebee wouldn't be a leader class.
Okay.
Bumblebee wouldn't be a leader class, but yes, again, the key word is leader. Bumblebee is not a leader. Megatron is a leader. He leads. He's the leader of the Decepticons. Optimus Prime is a leader. So he will be a leader class. And those are and Ultra Magnus, even though he's second in charge, he's defined as a leader, right? He leads other robots. He leads other Autobots. He has followers. So that would determine the leader class. And those are usually the largest ones you can find. Now, the interesting thing is I saw Transformers now has, remember the Ark they crashed on Earth in the original 80 series? Well, they got an Ark. And the Ark is kind of expensive. He's about $200 on up. The Ark actually transforms into a large robot and a small one. Back in the day when they crashed on that planet and they crashed on Earth, the Ark couldn't transform. They were just living in it. Now they got the Ark transformed into an Autobot.
Dang.
Hey man, we get a master class. I love it when we get these master classes on how to do shit. I mean, stuff. All right, it's amazing how we do this, man. Okay, we're talking with Mr. Damien Gore, man. Again, he just that guy. I ain't gonna even say all of it because y'all got to appreciate
it, man. I just have a passion for what I do. Thinking about the Ninja Turtles, though, I wanted to put it out there because I know eventually they're gonna make a movie. So there's a series called The Last Ronin. They also have action figures. It's very popular. Where the turtles appear to be. If anybody watched the original Ninja Turtles movies, part 1, part 2, part 3, right? You know, the costumes were done by Jim Henson and stuff like that. Well, I think it was the second or third when they went Turtles in Time and they had the samurai uniforms on.
Yeah.
Well, they created a series that's kind of a little bit of a spinoff of that, but slightly different. It's called The Last Ronin. Here's the trade paperback, what it looks like.
You already got it.
This is on the New York Times, and this is a comic book, a hardcover comic book.
Wow,
they came out with a limited series, 5-issue series. After the 5-issue series was so popular, they came out with the trade paperback of it because they sold out and many people had issues getting copies. So they came out with this second edition as a hardcover. This is on the New York Times bestseller list. Now, I don't want to ruin it for those of you out there, but I want y'all to pick this up. The Last Ronin is where all of the Ninja Turtles die except one.
Oh.
Now, we all think about all the characteristics of the Turtles. Who you think was the toughest one? For me, the one that was the best leader, he was the leader, of course. Which one?
Donatello.
Donatello, you thought he was the toughest? According to the movie and the book, it was Raphael.
Yeah, Raphael.
Yeah. Remember how they portrayed him in the original movie when they poked their head up through the sewer? Raphael was supposed to be the toughest.
Yeah.
Now, the new movie portrayed Donatello as the brain. They added technology. They would have to. He was the nerd of the group, right? Okay. Then you had Leonardo with the swords, who was the leader, right? Leonardo was the leader. He called the shots. They followed behind him there. Let's do this, y'all. Let's put this plan together. You know, he was the one in charge under Master Splinter, right? The weird thing about this series and the crazy thing is, my favorite one, even though he wasn't the smartest, I ain't gonna take nothing from him, but I love the nunchucks, Michelangelo. So in The Last Ronin, they all die except Michelangelo, and he's forced to fight with all of their styles.
Oh, they all die. No, they got to come back. They
So here's the thing. At my shop, this series was over, I think, last year. It's very popular. People still coming and asking for it. I got this book that I showed you. It's my last one. I got to order more. It's on reserve for a customer. But they have a new series, a prequel that's called The Last Ronin Years that's out right now. And it talks about what happened before those events of The Last Ronin. That became so popular. It's a 5-issue miniseries, The Last Ronin Years. That series became so popular. Now they're talking about a prequel to The Last Ronin. I mean, a sequel. They did the prequel. They did The Last Ronin first. They did the prequel. Now they're talking about a sequel. So it's hot. So this book right here starts off, I like the narration. The guy that helped put this book together, he knew Eastman and Laird, one of the original creators of the Ninja Turtles. So he talks about in the beginning of the book of how one of the creators used to come and literally eat dinner with his family. And his kids were so intrigued by this guy, they would say, oh man, he just do the magical turtles. You know, they knew this guy would just create these magical turtles and draw these pictures. And so the guy that put the narration together is a movie director.
Oh.
So that leads me to believe eventually they're probably going to come out with a film on this.
Go CG another one.
So it's 7:46, man. We have the life coach moment, man. But real quick, man, I want to about a couple of things. First of all, again, let me mention my man, Simeon Henderson, man. He has the B Symbolic Scholarship Golf Tournament. It's coming up August the 13th. Scholarship is going to be given away to 2 people, all right? We'll talk more about that later, all right? But 310-498-9080. And if you want to contribute and donate, you can donate on Zelle. It's in Orland Park, Illinois. My man's Simeon. He'll come on again to talk about it, all right? And I want to tell you guys, too, I had the best. You remember the guy that said something about some sweet corn?
Yeah.
Man, look, he got it ready. He got it ready for us, okay? But we got to do the work. We got to peel it and do all that stuff.
Oh, I know how to do all that.
I bet you do. It's fresh and everything, okay? My man says, hey, it's time, you all come get it. Dan Sitzma, okay? Inbox Dan Sitzma. He'll say he'll drop it off to you, whatever, okay? If you're in the Indiana area, the Northwest Indiana, he will get it done for you, okay? And it's not very expensive, so you better get it while he's doing it like that, okay? Just harvested it. It's all good, okay? And, go do your thing, all right? We're talking with Damien Gore, right? That's how you say your last name, right? Gore?
Yes, it's actually an island off the coast of West Africa. Yep. Okay,
there it is. Hey, man, look, so, again, we're celebrating this man's journey, all right, and everything that he's doing, all right? This is a celebration because this is the first time we've had somebody on here like this, number one, okay? Two, again, as we try to diversify ourselves, man, we got an author here, we got a DJ here. I'm a television host, man. Unconventional jobs, all right? Everybody's not meant to be a fireman, a policeman, a lawyer, a doctor, all of that stuff. Unconventional jobs and flourishing in these jobs, okay? And Damien, you're doing such a great job, man. And like I said, I walked into there, man, and this is the flea market, y'all. But that's like a big ass thumb sticking out of a whole bunch of fingers and folded up. Okay,
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on here too. I really appreciate all you guys and your time.
We don't never have enough when it's good people. We don't have enough time to talk about this.
Yeah, right.
So We ain't even got to Masters of the Universe. He-Man, that's back out.
Oh,
Oh
man.
yes,
Yeah.
man. My brother had all of those.
But we got what I'm going to do, Gina.
So what's the hottest one? What's the hottest one other than He-Man?
He-Man, the hottest He-Man right now, with one of them that I sell a lot of is the anti-Eternia He-Man. That's the all-black one. They got an all-black one now. This is the first time he's been released.
What about Chuck Norris? You get any of those? My son loved Chuck Norris. He had every Chuck Norris doll.
Thundercats.
I have to look around, but I know that there's Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is definitely available. There's a company called NECA. They're known in collectible world. They make like the Alien action figures, Predator. They make all the horror stuff. They also make Bruce Lee. And I'm sure they may have a Chuck Norris out there somewhere.
Zing Zen says and Thundercats too.
Oh yeah,
Thundercats,
Thundercats.
Hey,
Oh,
speaking of Thundercats, the coolest one that I've seen to this day, they came out with one that's called Ice Mountain Lion-O. Lion-O is like a light blue color skin, like he's frozen. For real. When I saw that one, I said, I gotta have that. It's $50. I saw the action figure. I said, I need them for my shop, man. I'm gonna figure out how I can get a deal on them wholesale. We gotta get them in there. Ice Mountain Lion-O, look it up. Sick.
I'm gonna look it up. Hey, let me ask you this too. Now, and we were talking about this earlier before the show started. My son has 2, maybe 3 duffel bags full of WWE wrestlers.
Yep.
Right now, they like I said, they probably beating each other up in the bag right now. All right. But are those even in the condition that they're in? Are those worth anything?
Probably if they're extremely rare. He can make a good profit in good shape, even though they're what's called loose. Any ones that are open are called loose. There's guys that make collectors. I don't have any in my shop because it consumes a lot of time with the loose ones. You got to repackage them in Ziplocs and label them. Typically, it's not a lot of money in those unless it's extremely rare. You may get, the most you may get is maybe $25 if it's a rare one. But they typically go for $3, $4 all the way up. The real bread and butter in collecting toys is keeping it in original packaging and keep the packaging in good shape. And then if you're a serious collector with the toys, you can also get toys graded as well. You can send them off to a company. They encapsulate it in a special hardcover shell that's UV protected and all that to preserve the toy. That really increases the value. I mean, the guy was talking about JJ Coins, his shop, he has some graded Star Wars figures that were from I think there were some of the original ones. We're talking about a big price difference. When it's graded, those figures loose probably went for $15 on the way up, but graded, it was a big price difference. I mean, I've seen them selling for $300 and something each.
Ooh.
Dang.
So, Damien, I have a few toys in the box, like Jack in the Box, R2D2. What would you suggest I do first before I try to sell them?
Throw them bastards out, man. What are you talking about?
he said, give them to me. Give them to me.
Jack in the Box, I don't know much about that one, but I can tell you about on the action figure. If you have an R2D2 and it's an original one, the key to really making money with Star Wars, right, is having the original ones from the 80s. If it's one of those ones from the 80s, even if it's loose, it's gonna go for big money.
It is.
And if you're able to have the original packaging with it, and get it graded, you're gonna see a couple $100 easily.
So I need to get it graded first.
Yeah, there's companies you can get it graded if the packaging is good enough. And it's the same way. From 1 to 10, they'll give it a label. Just make sure I don't know what the top market is, to be honest with you, for the toy grading, but just make sure you do your research. You want to pick the top grading company, so a company that's well known, so that when you bring it to a collector, you're like, oh, this is such and such. This is PSA. This is whatever. PSA only does trading cards, but I'm just giving you an example. But there's other companies out there that grade toys. I'm not really into the grading toys, but I'm knowledgeable about that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, because you think about this, man, we're older now and we got a bunch of old toys, or our kids got toys, and they're sitting there. We may have bought, like, I would say some of the wrestling figures, $7, $8.
Big market.
You know, but they've been sitting. I don't care if I got $3 or $4 for them. They've been sitting there forever. My son's 28. Yeah. They've been sitting there forever, and he got 2 big bags of it. So I think he got to gain
some money for those. It's places that buy loose figures and they resell them. They repackage them in Ziplocs. You know, I have a booth that we just set up in another flea market outside of Market City. You know, I also have a booth I just started at Trader Bucks in Maryville. There's a guy in there, a vendor in there. He sells a lot of the loose action figures. He has a whole stand full of them, and they're graded for $3 or $4 on up. You know, and he also sells games and stuff too. We sell video games too. By the way, we sell. I sell sealed games. I don't sell anything used. Everything I get is sealed.
Okay.
But thinking about the wrestlers. We sell a lot of wrestlers, and the most popular wrestler that we
Hulk
see
Hogan.
a lot of, Hulk Hogan. We have Hulk Hogan. We have Randy Macho. But let me tell you, it's Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior was originally from the state of Indiana. Ultimate Warrior flies out the door, especially the one with the championship belt, which is extremely rare, where he won the Intercontinental Championship. Because remember, he made history. He was one of the few wrestlers to win the Intercontinental Champion and the World Championship. And when he won, nobody did that prior to him. And when he did that, the WWE or WWF or whatever told him, no, you can't hold both. They say you got to forfeit the Intercontinental. Now you're the champion. We can't allow you to have both. You can't do that. Nobody's done that before. You can't do that.
See, he knows everything about everything, okay? Hey, here's one. Dan Sisma says, do you have any of the old Tonka trucks and machines, the good old steel ones, old farm machinery, John Deere International? Are those worth anything?
They are. None of those. I'm sure if you came in Market City, there are vendors outside that sell those loose. You may find those for a good deal if you're interested. If you're looking for them packaged, you're probably going to pay a pretty penny because John Deere and all the original ones are going to be worth some money. Similar to, I know a lady came in asking for Lionel trains. That is an extremely rare hobby right now. And guess what?
Yes,
That's the big ones. The big ones.
I had one. We had a pool table in our basement. My stepdad bought us a train set for Christmas. I remember getting some plywood, setting it up on the pool table, actually getting sandpaper to make the pavement and painting it green for grass. Then we made the lake in the water. We could make a blue puddle and then color it in, fill it in with clear nail polish to make it real and believable. Remember buying the signs and gluing them into place that light up with the battery. We had the whole shebang. That is extremely rare hobby. I have people asking for that.
So the HO scale
shops are few and far between right now with the lineup.
Tyco tracks.
Tyco is rare too. Tyco would be extremely rare, but the key to Tyco, that's the little racetrack where you pull a car across. They came out with the electric ones later. Those are extremely rare, but the key to those is like if you had any brand new package, they would be worth extremely.
Those hot rods, they were selling real hot for a while.
Die-cast, I actually came across a customer that sold me some die-cast dragsters. He came all the way from Indianapolis, Indiana. He had cleaned up somebody's shed, and the lady's husband that died, long story short, was into drag racing. And he had brought me Alton Brown. I did not know I'm sorry, not Alton Brown. What's the guy's name? Trying to think of his name. He was the first black NASCAR driver to win a championship. He had not the one Michael Jordan, not Bubba whatever, Wallace, whatever, not before Bubba Wallace. His name was Antoine Brown or something like that. So little did I know, one of the cars he brought me was signed by this driver. And I said, it's signed by somebody. I said, this might not be real, whatever. I said, man, but I took a chance on it to get the guy, needed some money. I bought 6 of those. Okay. I want to say 3 of them I still have. I've already sold a couple of them. Now those didn't sell in my shop because of the area. Let's face it, we not big on NASCAR. Right. That's not really a lot of us, right? But that one I put it up on eBay, and a lady immediately reached out to me and say, "Oh, I collect that specific driver." She said, "I collect nothing but him. I can tell it's authentic. How much you want for it?"
$1,000.
So you got $115 easily off that.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man. You look, 100, 111, 110, 115. That money adds up. Hey, look, Damien, I'm sorry, we got to get out of here, man. Tell everybody where your store's at.
So I'm located in the Market City Flea Market. The name of my company is RetroTrading Cards and Collectibles. We specialize in collectibles, comic books, trading cards, sports cards, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, action figures, statues, figurines, raw and slab collectibles, located at 4121 Cleveland Street in the Market City Flea Market. Stop in and check us out. We're open on weekends, 9 to 5, Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, everybody
Gary,
just go.
Indiana.
Gary, Indiana.
Go check them out, man. Go make sure, because if you are a comic book enthusiast, action figure enthusiasts, everything that we talked about tonight, man. Go see. I'm telling you, you will not regret stopping.
I appreciate that.
It's amazing. And he got his son with him too.
Thank you.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about his son and how he got involved with it, but we're gonna get that next time. You got to come back, Damien.
For sure. Hopefully we could do like a live cast. You know, we got tables set up outside the booth. We could set some up out there and you know, really get it in, really show some products and do a walkthrough. That'd be great.
That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Gina?
That's gonna happen.
That's gonna happen. Okay. We got to get out of here, man. We appreciate you coming through, man. The celebration, y'all can still toss them drinks up, okay? Because we still celebrating this man.
All right.
4-7, 300.
Hey, I'm just impressed his family is an African island.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You know, God has been really good to me in this last year and a half. I mean, in my professional career, and it's taken off along with, you know, doing my own business as an entrepreneur. You know, I've been blessed. I've been going to some concerts. I'm a big music fan of live music. Long story short, I posted it on my website, RetroTradingCardsCollectibles.com. I was actually able to do a meet and greet with LMA. So God is good. God is good.
And I started a picture up, but we're going to get that the next time. All right.
For sure.
Hey, Damien, appreciate you coming through and hanging out with us, man. Thank you for sharing your gift with us, bro.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. I
Lots
appreciate
of
your time.
knowledge.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much.
All right,
bro. DopelivenTV Live, man. We will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Peace out.
God bless you all. Thank you. Appreciate it.